I'm Veronika from OnSinch support team, and today in our another support webinar, we will take a look at wallets and payouts and payout methods. Also, I wanted to mention, if you would like to have some webinar, if you feel that you would appreciate some topic being covered by the webinar, we will be happy to receive your feedback. Because we plan to have these sessions regularly. So it would be great also to hear from you what you would like to know more about. So today we will take a look at wallets and payouts. So it's a part of OnSinch related to your staff members' earnings. It will not be related to the wages setup or how much you are paying, but rather on the thing that it's happening after. So how you process the payout and how you balance the wallets. Because OnSinch is not a payroll system, it will not calculate for you social security insurances and taxes, but it gives you a clear and precise overview and exports mainly for your further payroll purposes. So you can work with that further in your process, and you know how much exactly you're supposed to pay to who and to what period, basically. So that will be our topic today. I will now share a screen with, we will start with some basic terminology overview. I know that you are all power users, but to kind of like dive into the topic, I thought it would be good to mention it. I hope I'm sharing correctly. Yeah, I think so. So first, let's take a look at our basic terminology. First thing, it's a wallet. Each staff member that registers to your OnSinch have their own wallet, which is like a one pile where all the money they earn goes and all the money you pay to them goes out. Wallet consists of individual wallet records. It means that one wage earned, one bonus added, one payout processed, that's the wallet record. Another term is wallet balance, which is a current state of the wallet, meaning how much money is sitting now in the wallet, waiting to be paid or somehow processed. Then we have term related, which is contract. Contract is some document you sign with your staff member. Either you sign it outside of OnSinch, or you can use our own e-signature feature, which we highly recommend, as you can use it directly in the app. So basically, it's all the documents you are signing with your staff members and have stored them in OnSinch. With contracts is also complementary setup, which is called payout method, and that means that if the contract's supposed to be somehow connected to attendance and money, it needs to have set payout method. This will be our main topic today. Then there is a payout. Payout represents minus record, so it's type of wallet record, and it's a deduction of from the wallet, and it's deduction of money that were paid or are on the way to the staff member bank account, representing that you are paying them the money. And finally, payout request is request created either by staff member or admin, and it's representing the demand for certain amount to be paid. And it's waiting, again, action of administrator. So these are the terms we'll be using today. And we can switch to our OnSinch. So I'll be sharing, as usual, my demo system, and we will be using this. First, let's take a look at the wallet. So as I mentioned, each staff member has their own wallet. They can access only their wallet. They cannot see any other staff members' wallets, how much they earn or everything. They can see just theirs. But you, as an admin, of course, you have power to see everything. So we will navigate in the left menu into finances and wallet transactions. And in this section, you have all the wallet records, all the information about what was paid and earned by staff members from the beginning you started using OnSinch. There is a vast filter you can use. You can filter here by staff member. Very useful for payroll purposes is to filter by accountable date if you want to check balance of wallets in the end of your payroll period. You can also here filter by orders, job, or shift to see just what was paid in relation to the specific event. I will for now keep here filter starting from 1st March, as I only want to see only the things for March. And if we scroll a bit down, here are all my wallet records. So this one line is one wallet record, as I was mentioning before. In wallets can appear many type of records. The most common is the wage. That's, for example, this part. In the column type, you will always see that it's a wage. It means that it's wage earned under from the shift and from the work. So it's a closed shift. You will, in the end of the line, have always reference to the specific shift, which is related to. Another thing that can appear in wallets, if I scroll a bit down, for example, here is a transport. You can see here from Sarah Skills that there is a transport. Again, it's connected to a shift because it was part of the shift. Then you can have various manual records in the wallets. You can notice them here because I'm using our other feature, which are wallet tags, which helps you to structure your manual records, easy filter, and working further with the exports. Another record, for example, are reimbursements that we can see here with this line with Harry Helper. Reimbursement is a special record. It's not the money that your staff members would earn by work, but rather it's something they paid for with their own money. And they requested the amount to be paid by you to them against the receipt. This can be all also done in the OnSinch. They can request via the app. Then we can have also negative wallet records, which can be, again, manual wallet records created by admin. That's, for example, this one. I deducted €5. Or if you're using penalties, here can be also penalty. And our, again, today's topic, minus records are payouts. So wallet consists of these wallet records. For our topic, also it's important for me to mention this first column, which is accountable date, because usually when you are working in your payroll period, accountable date is important because you want to know all the things, all the wages, bonuses, and money that are related to the certain period, and that's done by the accountable date. How the accountable date is set, if the wage, bonus, or manual record is related to shift, so if you connect it with the shift, the accountable date is the date of the shift. So everything which is related to that job, it's set with this date. If you are entering a record manually to staff member wallet and it's not connected to the shift, which, for example, in my case is this first line of Harry Helper. This line I added manually. It's €50 of bonus, yearly bonus for Harry Helper, but it's not connected with any shift. It's just the amount. And in this case, I can decide, I can manually say and set what's the accountable date. And as for the payouts, as we can see, for example, here in Antonis admin's case, the payouts have also their own accountable dates. And that's what you set when you are processing the payouts, which we will get to shortly. So here in this part, you have accountable dates of all the records, and they are important because when you are filtering in the filter here, you are filtering by accountable dates. So it's important to have these correctly. Another part that will be also important for us today is this column that's called payout method. This means that every record in wallet needs to be processed under some payout method. And that indicates that the money were earned under some contract which is valid, and the contract has a payout method. So your ideal state is that each of these lines are under some payout method. This allows you later in the process to process the payout and balance the wallets. If you have records without payout method, as in my example, for example, here it's this line, Nikki need. So clearly it looks like she worked on some shift. We have here also reference to the shift. She earned some wage, but there's no payout method. So there's some issue. And most likely she doesn't have a contract, or she doesn't have a contract for the time when the shift was happening, or now it's not a problem for us, but later when we would like to pay her, the system will not let us, and we need to solve it. For that, I would recommend also to use filters. Again, in the top, where you can filter by payout method, and you can here also filter by none, which means that you are checking all these problematic records that are without payout method. So that helps you to have clear overview about what's correct and what probably needs to be checked. And how the payout methods are set, or what is it in general about, how you can set it. For that, we will go for some time to settings. And first, we need to take a look at contracts. So I will go here to staff and contract types. Here you set all the documents you are signing and assigning to your staff members in OnSinch. You can see that I have here, for example, 0-hour contract, 0-hour contract for students. Then I have a freelancer contract and full-time employee. These four are, in my word, employment contract, and people are working under them. But also I have another contract type document, which can be, for example, consent to photography and media use, non-disclosure agreement, or some safety trainings. So these are also documents, but they are not related to any money. People are not working under non-disclosure agreements. It's just a document. So how can we say to the system that this particular contract means people are working under them and earning some money? For that, we need to set complementary connected settings in the left part in finances, in payout methods. Here you can see I have already set mine. And basically, payout method, it's a way that you are connecting your contract with payout method. And that means in the end that people can work under that contract and you can process the payouts and their wages under that contract. So it's important when you are creating a new contract, when you have maybe new year and you are like recontracting your staff members, when you are always when you create a new contract type and it's somehow related to money and attendance, don't forget to go to payout methods and connect it with some payout method. I will not be setting new payout method. Let's go here to edit, let's say the first one. So the 0-hour, to show you what you can set here. So title of my payout method is 0-hour contract. You can see that I'm using the same terminology for the contract in the contract settings and for this payout method. This can be a good practice to have it clear. The good practice also is that each contract has its own individual payout method, but you can use a different title, of course, if you want. So this is my title. A little bit down below, you can see that needed contract I chose from my contracts 0-hour. So in this part, I'm connecting the contract with this payout method. Second line, it's a calculation method. And here it's important to mention that in OnSinch, everything is a gross. So all the wallet records on all the payouts and all the wages are meant as gross salaries, because the net salaries are usually, or in all cases, are managed outside of OnSinch. So usually, if you are not based in Czech Republic, you will use the generic calculation, which means that basically you are not deducting anything when processing the payouts. So 1,000 is 1,000, and gross salary means net salary from OnSinch point of view, of course. So that's the generic calculation. Another option you can use is generic percentage calculation. And this gives you option to deduct set amount of percentage when processing the payout in OnSinch. This is handy when you know that, for example, if the staff members work under 0-hour contract, you always deduct 20%, and it's always like that. You can here in the settings of this payout method write 0.20, which indicates 20%. And every time when you process the payout under this payout method, it will deduct 20% from the gross salary. So the staff members will see what's the gross salary and also what's the net salary. I will leave it for now as the generic. You can also here set up payout limits that can be related to money earned during set time period, which can be monthly, yearly, or weekly. And the same you can use for hours. That's handy, for instance, if you have students and they can work only 20 hours per week, you can limit their payout method. Then we have two checkboxes you can use. First one is a requirement to upload the document. This is handy when you are working, for example, with the self-employment staff members, and you want them to send you an invoice for their services. So you can allow them to request the payout via OnSinch, and the mandatory can be to upload the document with the actual invoice. So you can again have everything in OnSinch and at one place. Second checkbox is that you can use it for reimbursements. And that can be handy depending your processes, because reimbursement is not usually the money that the staff members earned by the work, but it's rather that they paid for something and you're just paying it back. And the reimbursements are not usually subjected to the same tax deduction or social security deductions as the wage. So you might want to have them separately. But in case you don't, again, it's usually the case with the self-employment, you can use also the same payout method for reimbursements as well for all other wallet records. And here you can change the status. That just gives you a clear overview what payout methods are active, what you are using, and which are just for the archived purposes. Let's go now back one page again to the payout methods. I want to also show you, for example, here my third line, it's a payout method for students. So if I go to edit, you can see that again, it's a title for students, and the contract related, it's the contract I created for students. And I have here set hours, period, weekly to 20. Another part of the payout methods, or another way, is, for example, this full-time employee. So again, I will go to edit to show you how I set it. And that's the mentioned deduction, because I know that full-time employees always get deducted 15% of the payout. So I can just set here 15%, name the deduction, some generic tax and insurance, and it will be deducted. So this is the basic settings which is needed to be set before you actually even creating shifts and processing the payouts. Then how the payout is used, how the payout method is used in reality. So actually, if we found our Harry helper as usual, if we go to basic tab, so for example here Harry, we can see that on the right side he has a contract 0-hour. And we already know that we have set payout method for this, which is called the same. So the payout method actually is used right when the staff member is signing up for the shift. So when Harry helper signs up to shift, the system checks what contract he has, what's the payout method, and assign the payout method for this future attendance. So the hours he will work and the potential money he will earn will be under this contract. Of course, staff members can have more contracts. For example, I have here, let's find, I think this person, Richard Racer. Yeah, for instance, he has a 0-hour contract, but he also is a freelancer. So in this case, both contracts, both payout methods can be used for work. Here is important to mention the dates. In my case here, I have the contracts said that they are indefinite, but of course, usually you might be working with the monthly contracts or yearly contracts. And it's important that when the staff member is signing up to the shift, or when you are adding the money to their wallet, they need to have valid contract for the time when the shift is happening or when the payout is processed. That's important. If I have contract that ended in February and I don't have any other contract for March, I shouldn't be working in March, so I cannot sign up to the shift. Of course, this depends also on the settings that's done in the agency settings. If you have said that having the contract is mandatory for signing up for the shift. So this is how it works before the shift even starts. So when people are putting themselves on the shift, or when you are adding themselves to the shift, that's the moment when the payout method actually is chosen. Then, of course, you might want to need to change it before the shift starts, when the staff members are already on that shift. So for that, let's go to upcoming shifts. I think I have here some shifts. Yeah. So for instance, here I have a couple of staff members attending this shift that will be in the future. And this column, or this green lines, are indicating payout methods of the contract that the staff member has. So for instance, here Sarah Skills will work on this shift under student's contract, under student's payout method, etc. For example, here you can see the problematic Nikki need. There's nothing written in her line, so most likely she doesn't have a contract. She can still work, she can still attend the shift, I can still close the shift, but when there is the moment that I need to pay her, it's a problem I need to solve. And of course, we recommend to prevent these problems before. And here we have our Richard Racer. And if the staff member has more contracts available, you can change the payout method by clicking on the payout method and checking if there's another offer. So for instance, Richard Racer is on a 0-hour contract, but also on freelance contract. So I can say that this shift, because of my process, we agreed that he will work under freelance contract, and this is how I change it. So it now counts with the payout method of the freelance contract. So this is how we can change it before the shift is ended and closed. After the shift is closed, the money earned and the hours worked are moved under the payout method, and you can also change it after it happens. For that, let's go back to wallet transactions. So back we are here in my list, and again we have here the column payout methods, and I think we were Richard Racer. So let's find here on the top Richard Racer. So you can see this is a line of the Richard Racer, and this bonus I added manually some time ago was initially added by under payout method under contract 0-hour. But I say, okay, no, I want it to be paid under freelancer. So you can go here and click on edit. And if another payout method is available, you can change it. So I will save it. And now the 0-hour is gone, and this particular wallet record is under this payout method. You can do this change in a bulk for one staff member. So if I filter all the records of Richard Racer, I might be able to select more records and do the bulk change. Here is important to mention that you need to be careful about changing things in the past, because as you can see here in the wallet, these all lines are wages Richard Race earned, and they were worked under 0-hour contract. So he was working, and then at some point we paid him under this contract. And if I would just go back and try to do changes in the previous records, suddenly my payout, it's not relevant, or it's not correct, because there is not continuity with the contract which was used for the shift and which was used for the payout. So now it will be a bit inconsistency in the wallet. So be careful when you are changing something like this. Always check if there were not any payouts. So it's correct in the end. So this is how we can change it after. And the important part I wanted to mention was this unassigned records. So this is all good. Once we have all the wallet records with assigned payout methods, they are ready to be paid. And let's check here if I have some unassigned payout methods. And I think I have, yeah, we have this snick and eat I was mentioning in the beginning. So let's take a look at, this payout method is not assigned. So we need to solve it because Nikki Need wants to be paid. So let's open her profile. And if we go to basic tab, you can here see a warning. Usually we don't use red alerts that much, but when we do, it's usually for good reason. So I recommend every time when you see something red like this, check and solve it as soon as possible. So in this case, we can see that Nikki need worked. She earned some money, but she doesn't have any contract. So this is the point when I need to check internally how it was. Maybe she needs to sign the contract, or maybe I have it scanned because she signed it on site or something. So let's add her the contract. And let's say I will put her under 0-hour contract. For now, we will use no document, but when adding the contract, you can upload a file that you have in your computer, or if you are using the e-signature feature of OnSinch, it can be sent directly for signature from the system. And here it's important for us now, this yellow box. And if the contract is set with payout method, which my zero contract is, because people are working under that, when adding the contract, you can here decide if you want to move all the unassigned wallet transactions, all unassigned attendances, all these problematic things under that contract. By default, the checkbox is always checked, but if you have different way how to solve it, you can uncheck it. But usually it's the case, so we have it by default checked. And you can see that here also the page tells you what's the unassigned amount. So we want this to be done, so I will add a new contract. And now you can see that the attendances she did was moved under 0-hour contract payout method. And if we check the basic tab, the red notice is gone, and Nikki Need is good to go for the payroll purpose. So this is usually how we need to solve the unassigned records. And it's always good to check it before you do your payroll process. So once we have the wallets, everything is in, everything is assigned, we can go to the balancing. And wallet balancing balance in general is good, right, in life. So also in wallets, it's good. And in OnSinch, you balance the wallets by payouts. Payouts can be done in two ways. Either you let your staff members to ask for the money via OnSinch. Again, that's very handy for when you are working with the self-employment staff members. So let's take briefly how this looks. So I will now log as a staff member. Now I'm logged as a staff member, and let's see if I have some money in my wallet. So I have 1,000 in my wallet balance, so this money can be paid. And as an agency, I allowed my staff members to request the payout. So there's the button. If you have this in agency settings turned off, people can see how much they have, but they cannot request anything. And I will go, okay, I want to request the payout. I can request less in case I want. I can, of course, cannot request more than it's in my wallet. And I want all of it, so I will submit my my payout request. If you have the mandatory attachment upload set in payout method, this will be the place where the staff member will upload the invoice. So I've now submitted the payout request, and now it's pending. Some admin needs to process it. So I will now go back to my admin part. And here in the left, we have new bubble in finances, payouts, and payouts requests. And this is the line, this is what I just did. I requested 1,000. That's also indicated here by the column requested by staff members, so you know that they did it. So this is how staff members can request. Another option is when you are the one who is like fully in charge of the payroll process, and you have weekly payrolls, 2-week payrolls, or monthly payrolls, and you just need to know the person and total amount of the money they earned during some period. You will use this section in the left, payout batch requests. And this page allows you to filter the period. So in my case, let's go for February. We have March, so we can pay February. So I will filter the whole February. And now the system will take a look at all the attendance that happened in February, and also on all the manual wallet records are added. And when I said that the accountable date is February. You can also decide if you want to do all payout methods at once, or maybe if you want to first do 0 hours and then freelancers and do it per payout method. In my case, I will just go for all. And here we have another date, and that's payout today. That's a very important day because this date will be the accountable date of the payout. This is not indicating when you are actually going to send the money. It's for your accounts. So, and to have the correct continuity of the wallet transaction over the time, the payout today date should be part of this period. And usually from our experience, the usual best practice is that it's like the last date of the period. Yeah, so I'm processing February, and all the payouts I will now create will be accountable with accountable date last of February. I will now go filter, and let's see what the people earned. So you can, from the first glance, you can see that some of the lines are blue, so these are good to go. And some of the lines are gray. You cannot even tick them. There's the problem. We can see that, for example, here, Mark Mover, he earned some money, but again, without payout method. So he earned it, but we don't know how, under which document, what these money are about. And the same goes with the William Watchman. So this like batch payout will not let you pay these staff members. So that's for the first, you check this column. And here on the right side, you will have little warnings. So again, the red ones are the hard stops. When you hover onto that, you will see what the problem is. So in this case, Mark Mover doesn't have the contract. If we check William Watchman down here, he also doesn't have a contract. And also in his profile, he doesn't have failed bank account. And since in the bottom of the page, I'm choosing that I'm paying by bank transfer, that's mandatory field. So William Watchman cannot be processed like this. And another warning you might want to see, which is orange, so it's not a hard stop problem, but it's something that requires, or you should pay attention to it, and that's this in the Walter range line. And this means that now the system tells you that staff member has some leftover balance from previous months. What does it happen? What happened here is that we are now filtering February. So this column, wallet balance for given period, is how much the staff member got during February. So in Walter range, it's 112. That's for the February. But the column next to it, total balance, it says how much money actually now, or now, I mean, on the last day of February, he has available in his wallet. And you can see that it's more, it's 166. So most likely we forgot to pay him something. Usually this can happen when you close the shift late, or when you add some bonus after the payroll, or when the shift gets or like reopen and change or something. So here the system tells you that maybe you should include this money also in the payout. Related to that is here very useful checkbox below the filter, which says include all staff members with positive wallet balance. And if you check it and filter, so currently we have 6 people here. So if we filter that, you can see that now I have 10 people. And what this checkbox do is actually that it take a look at not only February, but like February activities, but it will take a look at all the staff members if they have some positive wallet balance for the date at the last date of February. So we can see that we have new, for example, here, Heather Harding, this second line. She earned nothing in February. Probably she was not working. But from the previous part, January or even before, she has still in her wallet 1,462 euros. So that's still sitting there. So ideally, when you are doing your monthly payroll or weekly payroll, after this process payouts, this should be empty. Like probably you want to have everything paid and nothing left from the previous period. So this checkbox can help you to check if maybe some amount was not left out. So we will, I guess, leave it like this. We'll skip Mark Mover because we need to solve him somehow differently. And William Watchman cannot be processed because, again, he doesn't have a contract and fill the bank account number. Usually these cases, you need to like open the profile of the staff member and solve it somehow because it's very specific related to that staff member. If we move a bit down, here you have option for note. This note is visible to staff members in a payout detail, and we recommend to have, because when you are processing the payouts in OnSinch, when you click on that, when you like save them, your staff members will receive a notification, but usually the real money comes like the day after or in 2 days. So this note is very useful for saying that the money will be sent within a week or something. Yeah, February. You can here add the note as you need. So let's click on File Payout Requests. And here you might want to receive some errors. And the page will always tell you what the error is. So let's check it. For example, here, Mark Mover. Now our warning or our problem is that Mark Mover has some money earned under payout method. These are okay, but he has some money unassigned. And now the system is confused and it's saying like, okay, we need to check it and change it. If we scroll a bit down, here you can see that we have Mark earned 1,000, over 1,000 under full-time employee. But now he has also here, we have here in the second line, 10 euros without payout method. So probably we did something incorrectly. So how to solve it? This can happen. You will open the profile of the staff member. And again, we have here red alert. And we will go here to overview to check all the wallet balances. And you can see that this second line, the manual bonus I added to Mark Mover, was without payout method. Maybe I misclicked or something, so I can click on edit and check if I have some payout method available for that date. I have, so I can move it to full-time employee. And now it should be fine. So now Mark Mover is solved and we can pay him. We can now go back to our payouts, payout batch requests. And again, I will here click the checkbox, include all staff members with positive balance, and filter. Mark Mover now is ticked, so he can be paid. We are skipping William Butchman for now, and I will here below click on File Payout Request. And now on the top of the page, you will have a link that will lead you to the final confirmation, which is the part in the left. So you can just click on the link and it will take you there. And this is a moment where you can export the payout information to CSV or download zip invoices in case you are using contractors. And you can here finally check what you're about to pay. You can just select all of them and click on payout. And this is the final step. You can export information to SEPA file if you are using them, but usually you will select no bank as you don't have a bank connected with OnSinch. So it's just information in the system. And we can click on payout. And now payouts are saved and created in the staff members' wallets. All the payouts are here in the left section, in the payouts and payout section, where again you have filter, and you can filter all the payouts from the past. So you can see I have much more records here. So here you can again do the exports, again filter and check what you paid previously. So everything is saved here. Now what happened after the payout, if you need to do some changes, basically once you save the payout, it cannot be changed. I cannot go here and just edit the record and change it from 1000 to 500. You need to delete the payout. It means that now it goes back. The money are again in the wallets, so the balance is higher, and you need to do the pay process again. Yeah, so if you need to change the payouts, you need to delete them. So that's the batch payout. That's handy for this like monthly, weekly summary. And if we go back to this batch payout to check the February, you can see that most of the people are gone because we already paid them, so there's nothing left for them. But we have here our William Watchman. That's still problematic. So even when you are doing this, after you do the payroll and process the payout, go here and check the same data to kind of double check if you didn't miss anybody. So let's go to William Watchman. And that's the third option. Again, he has the same problem as Nick need before. We don't have any contract and no payout method for him. So I will just add him, also 0-hour contract. And now he is good to be paid. And you can also do it manually from the profile of staff member here. So if I click on payout, now I am solely taking a look at the William Watchman and his wallet. That's handy when you are manually adding some payouts or when they come to your office and cash, or when maybe you are ending the cooperation and you are doing like the final payout. So you can adjust it here. You can adjust also the payout to date, the accountable date, and even the date when it was actually paid. And like this, you can save it. And again, William Watchman is balanced and he doesn't have any money now to be paid. And if we go in the left to payouts and payouts again, yeah, you can see that he is here, the second line. So all the payouts, no matter how, if this is staff member or if it's admin, all end up here in this payouts. As for the exports, you might want to need from here. From this part, you can export the name of the staff member and total amount. If you need more details, so even like a breakdown of bonuses, what was transport, what was wage, the best way is go to wallet transactions and export it from here, because you have your complete breakdown of these wallet records. Also, what can be handy for you, it's in the statistics and stuff. Here you can also filter the wallet-related records. For example, if I will go, let's say last month. So here we'll again have the person, the total amount, what was paid, what's the wallet balance, total attendance, how many hours they worked, and you can also export to CSV as well here. And the fourth option is to use API and endpoints and export the data of payouts outside of OnSinch and work with them further. Also, what I would like to mention are these complementary or settings related to that. If we go to settings, I recommend also to check how your notifications towards staff members related to payouts and wages are set. So it's this section. Also very handy can be to use snippets in staff section because we have here two snippets that are related to that, and that's wallet page notice, where, for example, you can here stress out to staff members that the wages are gross, and how you do the payroll. And we have also snippet for requesting the payout, where again you can mention what should be in the invoice if the subcontractors are uploading it, etc. And usually, as I always recommend, to use also CMS for general information, how the process, maybe even the contract signature process in your company works. And the last things are related to agency settings. So if you consider maybe changing something, here in the agency settings, you can set some defaults. So for instance, you might want to consider this part if you want to require wallet contract for staff members to even be able to sign up for shift. If you want to be strict in this payout limits, as I was mentioning, the hours or the money they can earn within some period. If you want to maybe hide the contract selection for staff members in case they have more contracts. And if we scroll a bit down to the settings, if you are thinking about it, also here you can turn on and off the option for staff members to request payouts. With the attachment, you can also decide what type of files you accept, and if there's some minimum payout they can request, so they are not requesting like €3 or something. So that also might be handy to check how you have it currently set. And yeah, so that's kind of it. My presentation, but I want to end with my tips. So I will share, hopefully I'm sharing correctly, because yeah, I want to share with you some tips. So what I recommend is to balance wallets by payouts regularly. At best is to align it with your payroll period. It gives you good, clear overview about how it is, and the staff members clearly see what was paid, what was not paid. If you are not using payouts, then after 5 years of using OnSinch, your staff members might have thousands of euros in their wallets, and you don't know how it was, what was paid, was not, and it's a good for records. Another thing which is important when handling the contract is that the staff member needs to have valid contract for the shift date and for the accountable date of my payout. So in case I'm processing February and my payout date, if you remember the last line, in the filter, if I set it as the last day of February, the staff members that I'm going to pay, they need to have valid contract for that accountable date. Also recommend to be careful when changing contracts and payout methods after it happens, because you can get some inconsistency when some wages were earned and paid, and then you go and change the contracts or change the payout methods. It might be not in connection, so just be careful when doing it. And that's related also to that when you are reopening the shifts that were already paid. So you can always reopen the shift and correct how it was. Of course, that's needed. But sometimes if there was a payout in the meantime and the reopening shift might affect the wage, it will also affect the wallet balance. So just keep that in mind. Then I recommend when you have new year or new period and we are changing the contracts, like double check how the payout methods and settings are set, and check regularly unpaid records in the batch payouts just to be sure that everything is balanced. And always, of course, I recommend to check regularly the unassigned records. So in case there are more of them, you can solve them really quickly. And in case the page is warning you about something, that something is needed to be done, we recommend to check it and somehow solve it. And as I was mentioning in the settings before, you might want to find handy the snippets, the CMS and notifications that can help you to communicate with your staff members this whole process.